everybody, I am Tommy, and you are on the Lifeboat. Welcome. I'm going to do a bit of an abbreviated roll call tonight. We're going to say hi to some people. I'm not sure that I'm going to get through everybody. Rick Spicer, good to see you. Seventh, how are you? Sandy, Wandy, what's happening? Rick, Rolling Stone, Allison Metcalf, Palumbo. Glad you're here. I live for now. Good to see you. Franklin 4. DP in Tennessee, good to see you. Angie Mo, Debbie P. How are you? Let's see who we got. Somebody's chiming in here. DP in Tennessee, Ivy's mama. Hello, Mona. Good to see you. Yarn Prepper, hi. Joanne Ventrilla, glad that you're here. Good evening to you too. My other's keeper, good evening. Jason P. Kristen Melinda, howdy. Miss Sunrise Dawn, hello from North Georgia. Tina Marie, good to see you. Tommy Bird, what's happening? Jilbo Baggins, how are you, Jilbo Baggins? Good to see you. Heather MacArthur, hey, everyone's struggling hard today. Well, we're going to talk about that. Goosebump, good to see you. Squirrel Girl, Sweet Liberty, Layla. Hello, Hamster Heifer. Chow Yun Smut, Cricket, my friend. Rocket Queen. Let's see, a Brewsty. Good to see you, Wise. Yeah, that's me. Rose K, good to see you. Susie Q. Oh, Susie Q. Hey, Spike, I need a card. Miss Dragon, purveyor of incredible mugs. I don't know if you guys saw that this morning's boat. If you didn't, you should go back and look. It's awesome. Kim is Blue, good to see you. Of course, Calhoun will probably try to wahoo those and steal them now. But Anna, good to see you. Janet, good to see you. Milwaukee, the end of musing. Hey, 3 weeks off opioids. How fantastic is that? That cannot be easy. Can't. I remember really, really ugly times. That part of sobriety, I made a bunch, right? It's the later, but good for you, man. Those are the hardest ones. They get easier, I promise. Every day is going to get easier. You just got to stay the course. 1,000 points of light. Stay the course. Crafty Witch, a.k.a. Miss Jason P. Always good to have you. Scoob. Well, we'll catch you on the replay crew, and I hope you have a good night's sleep. Dee Dee Razzle Dazzle, good to see you. Love you, Scoob. Dale Cox, how are you? Glad you're here. Shannon Smith, Karma Chameleon. Glad you are here. There's a loving in your eyes. Ivy, Mama, I think I said that. You never know, though. Roberta, hit that like button. Damn rootin' tootin', people. Smack that like button around. Seriously, like you're angry. Wilfred Harry, how are you? Play whack-a-mole with that thing. Carol Barnard. Incarnasoul. Mary Barons. Probably a lot of people. Good crew, Spike. Am I close yet? I got to be catching up. Jeez, I'm not. Coach Lisa. Watching Tommy and Reese every day has made me hearing everyone's name and roll call in my head. How about that? See that? That's not such a bad thing. West Coast Fancy Nancy, good to see you. I'm glad you're here. This is going to be, this one's going to be different. This is going to be a very different show. Someday you'll go, oh yeah, I caught that one. Because this one's going to be really different. Don Gloves, good to see you. How are you? Trish. Briggs, good to see you, Trish Briggs. Glad you're here. Let's see. Hey, Blessed True Crochet. What's happening, Mary? Good to see you. Am I blue? Kim is blue. You had to close and reopen YouTube. Well, it's good to have you back. Care Bear Gratitude. That's a great name. Where's Quibs? She would have loved that. She will love that. Of course, here's the thing. For all I know, she and I have seen you together. I'm having one of those days. Hey, Pat Kimball, good to see you. I'm sorry, Kimbrell. Yeah. But cup of coffee. Good to see you. Shelly Kelly is here. You. Oop, 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 oop. Regina, good to see you. The Dead End Collective. Yeah. All right, we're getting there, people. And by that, I mean, if I don't get to the bottom of this shortly, I'm just going to give up. Crafty Witch. I'm glad that you're here. I think I said that, but I am still glad you're here. Olivia, good to see you. That's it. I'm done. All right, let's roll. So we talk a lot on the boat about what happens when we start to get off track, right? Great news. Had my shrink appointment today. He's no longer thinking I need rehab after reducing my drinking by over 50%. Sounds like harm reduction. Told him all the things I've been learning and working on. Wow, that's so cool. I'm telling you, harm reduction is real. And you know what? This is the way I look at it. If harm reduction works, if you're able to cut down in the amounts that you really need to, then it probably isn't the problem in the first place. Now, if you find that that is a really difficult thing to do, it doesn't mean the game's over. It just means you're going to have to fight a little bit harder for that harm reduction. And eventually, the harm reduction and the sobriety will level out, right? It's a little bit less harm reduction and a little bit more sobriety and a little less, and eventually you end up with, I don't need drugs in my life anymore. That's the dream. And guess what? If you don't get to it, right? If you never get to that dream of complete abstinence, but you're smoking a couple of joints a week instead of, speedballing or smoking crack, I'm not going to give you any crap. You take that up with your higher power, but I don't have any issue with it. Purple Groovy, good to see you. I happen to believe it saves lives. I happen to believe that the non-judgmental approach to all of this stuff saves lives. So we talk a lot on the boat about mental illness, drug addiction, being uncomfortable in our own skin, feeling less than, what it means to be a survivor versus be a victim, and what trauma means to you, right? Because trauma does mean something a little different to everybody, and it shouldn't. Trauma is injury. Right? Bottom line, trauma is injury. If there's trauma to the leg, you probably broke it, right? Or there's a big cut or whatever. It's an injury. That's what trauma is. We were talking the other day about how people go, my trauma's made me so much better. No, it hasn't. It left scars. It injured you. That's what trauma does. Didn't make you any better. If you rose above that and chose to actually work on all of the stuff around that, make it smoothed out, and because of that effort, you've risen above it, it's not the trauma that did that, you stud. If it was that easy, we'd all just go out and get hurt, wouldn't we? We'd all go out and just let our emotions go to the wind and then go, cool, right? Have my heart broken. I've been stepped on. There's some divorce, right? A little bit of, now I should be bulletproof. Now life should be excellent, right? Because if trauma makes you strong, damn it, I just did a bunch of it. Doesn't work like that. It's absolutely stupid, yeah? One of the other things that we talk about all of the time is that when you start to feel like you're feeling a little uncomfortable in your own skin, when you start feeling like things aren't quite right, what's the first thing that we do, right? We withdraw. We withdraw from society. We withdraw from our friends. We don't want people looking at us and realizing that we're mentally ill. We don't want people looking at us and watching us at our worst. And they're going to go, geez, what the hell's wrong with Tommy? So what do? Well, we withdraw a little bit more, right? And in my case, I put up something that says, there isn't going to be a lifeboat tonight, having a day, right? Appreciate all your prayers, but maybe we'll see you guys tomorrow night. You've seen those. More often than not, what's causing it is what you're looking at right now. Because I am in the middle of I'm currently in the middle of an episode. I'm currently in the middle of a very difficult time in my mental illness. Today has been a day that has kicked the ever-loving crap out of me from very early this morning. And I'll tell you a little bit about the phenomenon so that you guys understand it a little bit better, what's going on in my life. And this is what mental illness looks like to me, right? What it will look like to the next person. But here's what forms mine have been taking. So this morning, and this happens often in the morning. It really does. But usually I'm able to shake it by noonish, right? Noon or so. And very often I'm just with quibs until noon, or I'm just with, family or whatever, but I'm not I'm not out in the world and I'm not doing a lot of stuff. It's one of the reasons I don't do the morning boat anymore on a routine basis is because I slip. I'm not sharp, particularly sharp in the morning. I can't maintain focus on one subject matter. It looks like ADHD on steroids. The difference being I will forget what the hell I'm doing. And even if you remind me, it may not help at all, right? My brain just erases. And I think from reading my journals and from talking to my therapists and my doctors, I think that I get into a groove, right? I get into a groove with the people that I'm around. And I'm so used to them chiming off and having conversations and doing whatever that I don't want to sound like I'm ignoring them, but I'm ignoring background noise of them, right? If Quibbs is talking to Hux, I'm not focused in on what's going on. I am myopic. I get on what I'm doing. And then I find myself from time to time where you can't do that. Yesterday morning, really early in the morning, I've got to deal, at the time of the day when I'm not really doing well and firing on all cylinders on the best of days. I haven't slept in 48 hours and I'm in an airport on Memorial Day or what was it, Labor Day, whatever. And my flights are getting canceled and I got to run over, and I wasn't in a position to cope with that crap yesterday. And I did, right? I got home and I got a great night's sleep last night. I booked about 7 hours of sleep and woke up at 4, was about the normal routine, and started going about the day. Every single time anybody said anything to me today, it erased whatever was in my head. I'm not joking you, just that quickly. Like I would be in the middle of typing or something else, and you get a phone call or a text message goes off, or I'm dumb enough to look at the phone while someone's, sending in a text so I catch just the top of it. I don't mean I lose my train of thought. I mean, I will look back at the computer and not know what I was doing, not know why I'm sitting at the computer, not know none of it. And this happens to everybody from time to time, right? This is fairly normal. On days like today, it happens to me every single time I have an interaction with somebody. And the frustration of that makes you want to do what? Not get near anybody, right? If I'm going to focus, if I'm going to keep my head together, then I'm going to just get away from everybody, right? And that's healthy to a degree, right? Obviously, I want to minimize any damage that I'm going to do, because this kind of frustration eventually is going to cause me to get short with the people that I'm talking to. They're asking me questions I don't know the answers to, and God bless everybody because they're trying to help. But what you end up saying are answers that sound like this. Honestly, I don't know. I don't have any idea. And you sound like a bit of a dick. And now people who really love and care about you, you're treating poorly. And someone the other day said, what happens, to the people who love people who are in decline? And I talked about a poem called The Alzheimer's Poem, where you say, you know what, please, this isn't me. Right? Don't hate me for the ass I'm becoming. But I lost whatever the hell I was talking about. And I know the subject matter at hand, though. And the reason that I want to come on here is because I don't want to withdraw. I'm at a fairly low point with I'm struggling right now, but this and these are the really crazy thing is, if you've been in the boat a long time, all of the stuff that I've talked about, right, for 3 years, we can now put into play. Honestly. So I've done shows where I talk about not shows where don't always look to the worst possible case scenario, right? Because the worst possible case scenario is this thing on my brain got bigger. Right? That's the worst possible case scenario. And then you start saying, oh, this is the new normal. This is what I'm going to be like. And you will spiral out of control. That kind of thought will perpetuate more of that kind of thought. And then the next thing you know, automatic negative thoughts, right? Negative self-talk, whatever you want to call it, ants are kicking the hell out of you. So I have really, like I went in and journaled and I looked like Homer Simpson at the beginning of just writing the same crap over and over again, saying, this is probably travel and stress related. And the fact that, the diet hasn't been what it should. I don't mean while I was at Quibbs. I mean, during what do you eat in airports? You know what I mean? Like you're not sitting down to a 3-course meal in an airport. You're eating a bag of M&Ms, and it's nothing healthy. And certainly I am sleep deprived. Even with the 7 hours I got last night, I'm not in the ballpark of caught up. The question becomes, why wasn't I sleeping? And for 3 years, this is all I've done, right? This is all I've done for 3 years is talk to people who are going through the same kind of stuff. Hey, Fancy Nancy, what I was going through is what is commonly referred to as a manic episode. Now, have I had them before? I have. I didn't know I was having them before, right? I was having a bunch of them during that sort of meltdown that I had before heading out to stay with Quibs in the basement. Hey, Hill. Hill Ethno Fury. So this is for the time being. This is who I am today. There are days that I'm really sharp, and there's also, this is a really difficult thing for some people to get. And I think it's confusing sometimes because, like, I don't know if you caught the morning boat today, but somebody said, I don't remember who asked, but somebody said, I wish I could remember the poem that the guy says before he christens his ship in Caddyshack. Now, I can do that from memory without any problem at all. And I did. Now, if that's the first time that you've tuned into the Lifeboat, you saw somebody go, oh yeah, I can tell you what happened in that movie, and I can do it word for word. That's what I was for the vast majority of my life. All of the crap that I memorized in my youth, I memorized in a different way than the stuff I'm memorizing today, and in a different way than you guys are memorizing stuff today. The reason that memories get hardwired into us when we're young is because I'm not going to read that. I love you. I'm going to read it at the end because if I read it, I'm going to lose. In fact, I'm blocking you guys out. I love you, but I got to do this. In fact, shit, I just did it. It doesn't matter. No. Fancy Nancy, good to see you. Poca Vista, I'm glad you're here. Now, I don't want to run and hide in this. I don't want to not connect. Right? That's the last of. Also, and I've said this many times, and there's just so much truth to this. I could come up here and go wah 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 wah. Not that it's not important what I do, but I've done so much of it that most of you will hang out even if I'm having one of those wah 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 nights, because most of what you do, you've heard me say almost everything that can be said. So a lot of it is just hanging out with really good friends who all care for one another and who all support one another in this chat. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I was getting ready to cancel this thing tonight, and it's just hypocrisy at its worst, right? What am I saying? I'm saying I'm ashamed of mental illness. That I'm ashamed of mental illness. That's and that's hypocrisy. I'm not ashamed of my mental illness, right? I'm embarrassed that I'm not sharp as hell, but this is it. Right? This is it. And if this is as bad as it gets, then we'll bumble through this. And I'll be honest, if I don't read the chat, and I love you guys, and I'm gonna read the super chats. I know this is what we do, and it's a big part of the Lifeboat. But if I read, like I'm telling you, every single time I read one of your comments, it's over. Whatever I had in my head was gone. And it's not likely to come back. Or if it does, it's going to come back in its own sweet damn time, because that's kind of how these things happen. The brain is a fascinating thing. That's what I was talking about. So when we're young, our brain has to make sure that we don't kill ourselves by being stupid. You understand? So the first time you hear and a car goes by and almost hits you as you're stepping off the curb, your brain goes, wow. the next time I hear that sound, we're not stepping off that curb, right? That sound will always mean I'm in danger. Now, do you know why that happens? Because it's the first time you've ever heard that sound. It's what we call novelty, right? Novelty is a huge thing when imprinting memories permanently onto the brain, right? When you really have something that it's never happened and it's the first time you've ever done it, the memory is going to be a little different than any other because very often your brain figures those kind of memories are important just based on the fact of the novelty. Now, add in other factors, right? Other things that will really imprint it, like if it's a very emotional event, right? So if it's the first time you're having sex is a really big deal in terms of brain chemical and all that stuff, right? The novelty of it being the first time, there's a really good chance if you didn't have some chemicals involved, that's going to be one you remember for the rest of your life. By the time most of us hit 40, there's not a lot of stuff we're doing for the first time anymore, right? I mean, honestly, you may try a meal you haven't tried before, but you've eaten plenty of meals, right? It's not going to be something epically different. Now, a lot of people at that age start doing stuff like taking up new hobbies, jumping out of airplanes, doing crazy stuff that, people always say, well, they're trying to recapture their youth. Actually, I think they're just trying to remember stuff. I didn't curse on this show for such a long time. And the inability to stop it now is one of the most frustrating things in the world. And it's another thing that has just been building. And if it starts with F-bombs, I swear to God, I will stop doing this show. The inability to control my speech is a terrifying thing to me. However, if I don't do shows every time this happens, what am I telling the world? To crawl into the covers and don't talk to anybody if things aren't going well, right? Certainly don't reach out to friends and don't try to help anybody or do anything for other people because you're not worth a farting anymore now that you're starting to go into decline of any kind with mental illness or with cognitive decline or anything like that. Your worth to the planet is now gone, right? I don't believe that. I might have believed that at one time, but I think that here's the deal. There's a lot of stuff that I talk about on the Lifeboat that is absolute rote. I have talked about it so many times that I don't even need to think about it. If I come on and the subject happens to be something, it's like a ball rolling down a hill. And then there are shows where we really kind of pick stuff apart and really get into stuff. And those shows are the best. Those are the shows that like a couple of years later, people will go, oh man, do you remember that one show? Unfortunately, you can't do those shows if you're not having a pretty good day in terms of your mental prowess, because those shows often require some kind of interpretation of whatever's going on in someone's life or whatever's going on in my life, and then helping people to try to relate to that. And if every time somebody asks a question, I forget what the hell we're talking about, those shows aren't they're not so hot. And I've done some. There are people, if you've been on the boat long enough, you've been here for one or two of those shows, and very often I'll bail off in the middle of them. I'm not going to run and hide when I have these days. I don't know that I'm going to do a 2-hour show. I don't know how much interaction I'm going to do. And it isn't because I'm ashamed of the forgetting or any of that crap or the fact that I'm the frustration level. It has nothing to, I'm not ashamed of it. Truly, I'm not. But I'm not sure if what I feel when I can't remember something or something leaves my head is the same thing that happens to you. I don't know how this works, right? I don't. But for me, it's like, it's right there. And I'm going like this. And they just, how you have something on the tip of your tongue, like you can go, oh, I know that I had it. Okay, well, that's how I lived all day today. I had it. I know what I was all day. I knew it. Everything was just right there, and I just can't pull it in. And it's what I can't do is let my frustration get to the point where I want to punch walls and scream at the top of my lungs. I had I really had one of those yelling, pissed off, losing it moments today. No one else around. I I wasn't on a telephone. I wasn't near anybody. I wasn't filming. I was smart enough to get away from every human being before it exploded. And I was able to journal about it immediately afterwards. And maybe someday when I can get through an entire show on one thought, I will share with you how trivial the crap was that sent me off the edge. For those who pray, I would love to have some prayers that that this is diet or this is environment, that when I go and they take a scan, that thing on my brain is the same size, right? Because I'm not going down that rabbit hole, and I'm not saying, but it is a possibility in this that's that this thing just got bigger, and it is getting bigger. It's constantly getting bigger, and at some point, it's going to start pushing in on stuff that's going to change how I am. I would really like that to not be the case currently. So I will take thoughts and prayers from all of the people who do those. And you know what? While I'm in a mood, if somebody said to me, "Hey, you know what? Me and my friends who practice whatever, right, religion, want to, say a couple of, things for you, or do a whatever you do, right, like a ceremony or a whatever." I can't imagine in my darkest days being pissed off that somebody thought in their head that there's an entity in the world, right, that literally controls everything. And I'm going to meditate and spend 5 or 10 minutes on your behalf talking to this entity that I believe exists. If that angers you, you got issues, man. No shit, you got issues. The hell's going on in this world, man? Honestly. Someone says, "Boy, man, I was really caring for you this much. Wow, you offensive bastard. How dare you use God's name around me? Get a journal. Start writing in it. Honest to God, who are you?" I'm mentally ill. All right, peeps. As very often is the case. All right, let's do this. Let's start talking to people before I. Deanna, thank you so much, Deanna. I really appreciate you. I appreciate you. I really do. I appreciate all of you. And I don't want anyone to bum out or take this the wrong way, but I do feel an incredible weight to do this show. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, because I'll be really honest with you. I think it's the only great thing in my life, honestly. And I mean my life, not Quibs and the people but of the things in my life that I've ever done or created, that burning desire to not blow off the lifeboat may be the only good thing I've ever created inside myself. And I'm not bummed out about that. The people who say, you shouldn't feel guilty about it. Yeah, I should. I'm sorry, I really should. And I'll keep it in balance. I'll keep it in check. I promise you. But what would I be like if I didn't care? Right? We assemble twice a day because this is a world that sucks, and it's really hard to get through this world. And most people end up taking some shortcuts to make themselves feel better. Sex, drugs, gambling, lying, cruelty, all these little things that we do that push a button for us, right? When you see those people and you're just like, why would somebody be that mean? Because those sick sons of bitches are pushing a button. Right? It's answering something in their life, something that they're missing. They actually get a sick satisfaction out of being a sick human being. It does something for them. Terrifying. But we come here to avoid that world and to prop each other up a little bit and say, you know what, I'm here for you if you're having a bad day. Not doing that and saying, well, yeah, I'll go do something else tonight. There are people who find this channel at different stages in recovery from drugs or from habits. And if you're at that stage where the only thing keeping you sober is a miracle and some white knuckles, it's not a great night for me to not do a boat. And I'm not saying that your sobriety is my responsibility, because it's not. It's not. But this show is. And I'm really, doing a show with Spanky. When I come back to town, I do these shows. He's better every time I work with him. He really is. And I'm super comfortable at the work he's doing. He's taking a massive load off so that I can continue to do what I'm doing here. But I'm going to share more of what's going on with me. I'm going to be open and honest, and I may not do an hour with you guys, right? But I would much rather give people an opportunity to come here for an hour and talk to one another, because if somebody is having that, hey, you know what, I really feel like drinking moment, or I really feel like using, and it's one of those nights. I have I can't tell you how many times that one in particular that will stick with me forever, because it's just so damn silly. But Mark Wages and I said, no one's going to show up tonight. We had two events going on. There was like a pay-per-view boxing or something, a MMA pay-per-view fight, and then a presidential debate, right, on the same night. And, Mark said, what are the odds anybody, right, is going to watch tonight? Anybody. And I said, yeah, you're probably right. Who's going to watch tonight? He said, let's take a night off. And we had a guy on the boat that had 121 days of sobriety and didn't make 122. Is that my fault? No, it's not. But it'll mess with your sleep for a couple of nights if you give a crap about other people and about sobriety. It will. And if I had, on nights like tonight, if I come on here and I do it like this isn't a hell of a show. There's not a lot I can do to help people here if I read the question and forget what we're talking about. That said, I can keep it going, and you guys can talk to one another. And honestly, that's kind of a big thing. You love Reese? Where is she at? Where is she at? Is she really here, or are you just saying you like Reese? I don't see her. Thank you, Reese. Good to see you. I love Mark too. Mark Wages is, first of all, he's a great YouTuber. He really is. He's a colossal YouTuber, and he's a great friend. There's never been a time since I met him that I needed him when he was not there. He really is an incredible friend. Wow, this is my first at Super Chat. Bravo to you for showing the man behind the curtain. You do such amazing work for others. We and yourself, thank you so much. You are truly a role model for personal growth, ownership feeling. Oh, wow. And you know what? What a beautiful thing to say. That really is. It's a beautiful thing to say. Thank you so much for the support as well. That's huge. I appreciate it, honestly. Jason P., I love you. Thank you, Jason P., and thanks again. I really hope. Thank you. But thanks for picking tonight for that. I appreciate you more than you know. Tommy, on your worst day, thank you, Jason P. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. And you know what? Again, I've had enough really, really bad shows on stage where I was on stage. You know what I mean? Where you couldn't just go, like, pull a plug on the computer and go, I don't know what happened. The stream died. Like, there's nowhere to go. You got 2.5 hours and you got to go out there and just look like an idiot. The number of shows I've done like that, honestly, the embarrassment part of this for me isn't an issue. Honestly, you may not believe that, but it's not. I don't get embarrassed really about anything. I'm afraid that on a night where someone's going to need me for more than something trivial, that I'm going to be brain dead. And that's a thing that keeps me awake. It really does. It frightens me a little bit. So I'm not going to drag this one on. My experience has been that I can start out really nice when I'm not having good days, and I'll read the wrong thing and start acting like a jackass. You guys have been here for a few of those. Oh, Shelly Kelly, thank you so much. And you know what? I was talking about you with Quibs. We were packing and moving stuff up, and we came across the book that you had made. And I love you, Shelly Kelly. I really do. You're such a kind person. Thank you for the support. And I don't mean the super chat. I just mean everything that you do for us, really. Jennifer Folsom, thank you. I really appreciate it. I really do. You prayed and the Spirit told you that I need some sleep. Well, there could be some. Yeah, I think you're probably onto something. Thank you, Mara. Thank you so much. And you know what? You're all going to stop that right now because I am going to sign this thing off. And you know what? You have any idea how much this is going to bum out the haters? Seriously, the haters don't get a super chat a month. So if you bail in the middle of them, they're like, dude, get so much cash from these people. Just stop in the middle. You know what, Helena? I hope you're feeling better. I hope the nerve pain. I know you were really going through it yesterday. That I do remember. I hope that, in fact, I think it's been a couple of days. I really hope you're feeling better. Thank you, Quibs. You know what? It's having a conversation about this subject yesterday, and it's teachers are not worth a fart if students don't want to learn. There's just somebody in the room, but Quibs is somebody that is she's fascinated by everything in life because she's never had an opportunity to ask questions. So it's pretty cool that she can. You know, I really think that's awesome. I do have gummies, and I am going to be eating them in about 2 minutes. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I'm really sorry that this is short, but you know what? I'm not canceling shows for this reason anymore. It's hypocritical with everything that we do and say here. I'm going to come on and we're going to go as long as we can. If I had gotten more than 7 hours of sleep in the last 72, I probably would just keep plugging. But again, I really don't want to say anything stupid. I feel like I got through the first part of this and didn't do anything dumb, so I'm going to run while I'm ahead. Thank you, DNV. You know what? You're awesome. And thank you, Relatable Reese. I love you too. All right, people. I really, I love all of you. I appreciate you guys. You know what? I'm better for doing this show. And I don't mean a better person, but I was doing this number before, and I really have been having a tough time. So I'm doing a lot better. I feel better having done the show. Something about hanging out with 250 of your family members does that. You know what that is? That is a cat in a basket. Good night, everybody.